Hey YouTube, it's Jamie, smoking in my car. Smoking my Dr. Grabow Omega. And in it I have some Elizabethan mixture. Which I think is a fine ribbon cut vapor. I like Stratford, GLP's Stratford, just a little bit better than this. But I could smoke this every day. It did give me some tongue bite last week, but I think that was on me. I think I was just being too vigorous. So what I wanted to talk about is astrology. I had talked about it before in one of my early videos, but you know, people hear the word astrology and they think of hippies and, you know, new age stuff, and that's a relatively modern take on the subject. I mean, you're talking about an art and science that has been around for over 2,000 years. There were definitely no hippies in 2nd century BCE Alexandria. Yeah, that whole like, oh, I'm a Pisces, or, you know, dawning of the age of Aquarius and all that stuff is like, that's just a short sliver in the history of astrology. I'm near the end of this bowl. This was my bowl that I drove in with, and I don't know, the ribbon cut just burns so much faster. But yeah, and plus this is a small bowl. It's pretty tiny, this like bent billiard. So let me do a little history then, just to kind of clean up this whole astrology thing. Astrology sort of begins in 1st or 2nd century BCE Alexandria. And it happens when you get the zodiac from Mesopotamia. The 12 signs of the zodiac are contributed by the Mesopotamians, particularly the Babylonians at this time. But the zodiac is an idea that goes all the way back. I mean, the beginnings of it go back, you know, to probably to Sumer. You know, you're talking 3,000 or 4,000 BCE when they started to really catalog that. You know, star catalogs. The Mulan pin was the name of one of the documents. And it's basically the divisions of the 360-degree circle. They had to figure out a way to divide the sky into, you know, some sort of order, some sort of segments, you know. And then the 7 planets, these wandering stars, move against the fixed stars in the zodiac. So in order to say where the planets were at any given time, they had to come up with basically geography of the zodiac to say, oh, this planet is in this stellar region. You know, it's pretty logical stuff. Nothing weird about it. In fact, NASA still says, like the beginning of right ascension, they call it, is still 0 Aries, 0 degrees Aries. That's what NASA says. So they adopt some of these old Mesopotamian stellar coordinates, at least the names of them. So when you talk about where planets are in the sky, because the planets obviously move against the canopy of the fixed stars, what we call the firmament, right? So basically, you take that Mesopotamian stellar and planetary knowledge, right, and you mix that with Egyptian, like what they call horoscopic knowledge, right? The knowledge of the horoscope, and the horoscope means essentially the rising point on the eastern horizon. Because if you look east, the sun rises there in a certain sign, and that eastern horizon is always at a certain point in the zodiac, right? In astrology, they call it the ascendant, right? So the Egyptians kind of contribute this diurnal system based on the time of day. Basically, it was a timekeeping method. They used the stars at night to keep time, and then during the day they used water clocks. The temple priests in Egypt had water clocks for the day, and at night, when you could see the stars, they used what are called the decans, which are 10-degree arc segments of the ecliptic. 10 degrees of arc of that 360-degree circle. I know this is kind of abstruse stuff, but it's a fascinating history, and it's where we get a lot of our cosmology, where we get a lot of our astronomy today. It's where we get all of these ideas, huge ideas. It's where geometry comes from. Because geometry, what is geometry but earth measurement? That's what the word means. Geo, that is earth in Greek, and metria, measurement, earth measurement. So geometry comes from the consideration of the 360-degree circle of the ecliptic and the Earth's relationship to it. Because geometry, or earth measurement, how can you measure the Earth with the Earth alone? That's like measuring a ruler with the same ruler. You can only measure the Earth in reference to the celestial sphere. Because that says how long it takes for, certain stars, just like navigation, like they've been using for navigation. You use a sextant, and all of these instruments, right? And navigation, astronomy, all of these, geometry, all of these are sort of contingent and predicated on knowledge of the ecliptic. It's really the beginning of geometry, astronomy, navigation, cosmology, and then we kind of injected myths into that, like there are certain stellar myths, stellar lore, or cosmological myths, but yeah, it's fascinating stuff. So it's not merely this, oh, I'm a Pisces, that means I don't like Geminis, or I don't get that's nonsensical to even talk like that. And to just say I'm a Pisces, that doesn't even make sense. If anything, we're all of the planets, are, maybe you could say they're aspects of ourselves, but that's all of the planets in all of the signs. It's a vastly more nuanced and complicated subject, and the history of it is just super fascinating. Anyway, I try when I can to clean up the perception of astrology, because it's been in disuse, or it's been abused by the New Age culture, when it's really a fascinating complex system. Anyway, talk to you later.